Yo, this is Nova Trifecta. I am Jimmy Fedora, aka Alias, aka Juicy J.
Magneto, what's up?
What's up, big boy Troy?
To say.
And we have a special guest.
The big Cambino.
Introduce yourself, man, for the people that don't know.
I'm the great Cambino. I'm the pride of Walker County, not to be confused with Dora High School's marching band. I was born and bred in Dora. Dora was only molded by me. So let's go. We're ready to talk a little. We're gonna put a little. What's the word we're looking for, Juicy?
Pizzazz.
We're gonna put a little pizzazz in your ass. That's what we're talking about. We're gonna put a little pizzazz in your ass, and we're gonna teach you how to live a little.
Cameron Hogg, people.
Cameron Hogg. My name's Cameron Hogg.
Welcome to Nova Trifecta.
Thank you for having me, fellas.
How we gonna start off today? It's a little different. We got a special guest with us today. He has a story that he want to share with the people. Before we talk,
and oldest friends.
Oh yeah, one of our oldest friends, man.
We go way back. I highly doubt you can find 4 different people that know as much about one another as what these 4 people know about each other.
Yeah,
and that's for a few different reasons, because we're really close, have been really close for a long time. Even Kendall. I mean, I'm probably closer to Juicy and Rashad than I am Kendall, but I've known Kendall for a long time as well. Yeah. I know a lot about Kendall. Kendall knows a lot about me. And also, we live in a real little bitty town called Dora. And if you live in Dora, you know a lot about everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, it's a pandemic going on right now. But it's another pandemic that isn't talked about quite as often. And it's going on, and I feel like we need to touch on it. And it's catfishing. It's going on, people, and we want to give you guys a story today about something that can go awfully wrong. Take it away.
I want to brace yourselves, because this is a Cameron Hogg story. So it's about to be full of excitement, suspense, sex.
I mean, okay.
Drugs and rock and roll.
Yeah, pretty much that's how I live my life. So, for everybody that don't know, I'm 32 years old. I'm divorced. I've been divorced now for 2020? About 3 years. And I got into the online dating world. I'll try to keep this pretty fast, but so I get into the online dating world. If you never did the online, Rashad, you ever danced in that? Rashad, you ever danced around in online dating a little bit?
I know you told me that I need to drop my ego and do it, but I had never tried it.
So you still never have? Okay. So what it works is basically, for anybody that doesn't know, it's basically Facebook that's designed to meet people. So I build a profile, got some pictures, you talk a little about yourself, and then you just swipe right, swipe left. Everybody knows that. So I meet this girl, and we talked for probably we talked for about 2 weeks, but we never talked on the phone, right? We just text. We talk on the app for about a week, then we swap phone numbers. And when you talk on the app, there's kind of a lag. Like sometimes you won't get that person's message, right? So if I try to say what you're doing tonight, you might not get it until tomorrow, right? So it's kind of a flaw in the app, but it's easier to have the person's phone number.
Because if you don't refresh it sometimes, you might not get that message.
Exactly. So if she says, hey, come hang out with me at this bar tonight, I may be at home wanting to go and hang out with her at the bar, but don't know she wants to hang out until tomorrow.
That's trash.
It's garbage.
Yeah,
it's a very flawed system of how it all works.
You might miss out on getting lucky. Golly.
Exactly. That's the point. All right. So we both acknowledged to each other, Kendall, what you drinking?
Huh?
Huh?
Well, Diet Mountain Dew.
Oh, okay. I thought you were drinking beer. I knew you had to go to work today. I didn't know. All right, so anyways, so finally, the girl and I, we both get kind of fed up with like waiting on like getting the message a day late or whatever. So we exchange phone numbers, right? So I get her number, she gets my number. Well, we start texting back and forth, and she calls me a couple times. She'll call me, and when I answer, she'll hang up. Or she'll be like, hey, sorry, didn't mean to call you, whatever. Whatever. It's kind of weird, but not really. It makes sense when she was saying like, hey, didn't mean to call you, whatever. So anyways, I get to the point where I'm kind of bored with talking to this girl because we've been talking for 2 weeks, but I've made efforts to hang out with her, but she ain't made no effort to hang out with me or whatever. So I'm like, you keep on. Can we cuss on here? So she ain't made no effort to try to hang out with me, but I'm always trying to make an effort to hang out with her. Yeah. And I'm to the point where I'm like, all right, fuck this, like I'm gonna find another chick, whatever. So anyway, so one day she tells me, she says, hey, I'm going out to this bar tonight. Do you want to come hang out? But I couldn't come hang out with her. So later that night, she starts talking dirty to me. All right. She's talking like promiscuous, like talking about wanting to do this and that. I'm trying to be PG as I can, but she's talking about she wants to do this and that to me or whatever. I'm laying at home in the bed. I'm like, all right, well, maybe you can just ride on over.
Yeah.
So
we don't need to go to the bar. You might well come on to the crib.
Right, yeah. There ain't no sense in going downtown. Just come on. But anyway, so then she says, what do you think about this? And she sends me a picture of her boobies. All right. I said,
nice. The tick.
That's pretty good titties. So then she proceeds to send me another picture of a different part of her body. That I
going south
asked for this, huh?
South of the border?
South of the border, yeah. It was kind of, it wasn't like raunchy or whatever. It was just like, hey, you want some of this?
Tasteful. Yeah, it was tasteful.
Yeah, it was tasteful. It was fancy, whatever.
Kind of like Skinamax.
Sort of. Yeah. It wasn't.
You gotta imagine what it looked like.
Right. So anyway, I'm like, goddamn girl, come on. Like, come on to the house. So then he says, I'm going to quote this girl. She said, let me see that big old dick. Those were her exact words. And I said, well, since you put it that way, So I proceed to send her a dick pic. All right. Keep in mind, we've never met. We've never. All I know is what she looks like from pictures she sent me and from her online dating profile.
You don't know what her face looks like yet?
Yeah, but only from her online dating profile.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I've never seen her in person. And
got you.
Okay. So then she just goes silent.
After the dick pic?
After the dick pic.
Oh, God.
After I send the dick pic, she goes silent.
That's scary.
So I'm like, well, either A, my dick's not as big as what she thought it was going to be. Which makes perfect sense to me. I'm like, I've seen this story play out before, So the next morning at about 9 o'clock in the morning, she calls me on the phone. 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm asleep. She calls me at 9 o'clock in the morning. It ain't her. It's her daddy. Her old man.
God.
Okay. Now, she's a white girl. The guy that calls me is a black guy. And I know that 100% by hearing him talk. Yeah. So he says, hey, Cameron, I'm not going to try to do black man's voice, but so he said, hey, Cameron.
Hey.
Yeah. hey, Cameron. I seen the message you were talking to my daughter last night about what you gonna do to her and all this and that and whatnot. But I don't appreciate it. I ain't gonna try to do that voice no more. But so then he said, his words were, are you aware that my daughter is 15 years old?
Oh shit.
My God.
Yeah. My heart sank. Because on her online dating profile, it says she was 27. Right? I think she's 27, whatever. So he says, are you aware that my daughter is 15 years old? In my heart, I immediately think I'm going to prison. Right?
Yeah.
I'm soliciting minors.
Dang.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, no, sir, I did not know that, whatever. He said, well, here's the deal. You sent a picture of your penis to my daughter, and she's 15 years old. My daughter sent a picture of her breast and her vagina to you. She's 15 years old. My wife's in the other bedroom crying. She wants to call the police and press charges on you. But I told her I'd give you the benefit of the doubt. And let me talk to this man. Let me see what he says. Because I know there's two sides to every story. That's what he told me.
Yeah.
He said, I know there's two sides to every story. I said, I appreciate you doing that. But I need you to understand from the bottom of my heart, I'm not that kind of person.
Yeah.
And your daughter told me that she was 27 years old. So what I did with your daughter is not inappropriate in the scale of the age that she told me she was living in.
Yeah.
Right? He said, I understand that, but I can't go against my family because my family is my blood. So if my wife wants to press charges on you, I'm going to press charges on you. I said, okay. He said, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to talk to my wife for a minute. And I'm going to call you back in about 10 minutes. And you better have something nice to say to my wife. And then he hangs up the phone. All right. I just called my brother. Oh, I called my brother. I said, hey, Kyle, I think I've fucked up to the max. I think I'm fixing to go to prison for a long time. Cause I'm legit scared to death.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm scared. Like I wrote out this big long text message, like hey, apologizing, saying I'm sorry, all this and that shit, whatever. So 10 minutes later, I'm still on the phone with my brother. My brother's like, it's all right, man. It'll like he's trying to calm me down because I'm freaking the fuck out, you know.
Yeah.
I'm scared. So my brother's like, it's all right, man. Like, don't worry about it. It's gonna be all right. Like, we'll figure it out. So then the guy calls me back. He says, hey, Cameron, I talked to my wife. I think I got a way we can work it out. So when my wife walked in on my daughter sending you these inappropriate pictures, they got into an argument and they knocked her computer off the bed. It was an Apple Pro Mac computer. It's about a $1,500 computer. If you'll Venmo me $1,500.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
I thought for a second. I said, okay, let me tell you what.
That's a scam.
I said, let me tell you what. Fuck you. And I hung up the phone. It was a scam. They tried to catfish me to the max, bro.
That's crazy.
So when they said you instantly knew, oh man, they're trying to get me.
Yeah. As soon as he said, And so, because here's how my brain worked. I thought if my 15-year-old daughter receiving pictures of a penis from a 32-year-old man, I don't give a fuck about a computer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill this guy no matter what. Or I'm at least gonna get inside the story and be like, well, she lied about her age. He didn't know. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Logically, like
a 10-minute conversation, and you come to that conclusion that we need a $1,500 laptop.
Right.
Yeah.
But for you to say, if you'll just send me $1,500, and he actually said, like, now, do you have Cash App or Venmo or something like that? That's when it hit me like these motherfuckers trying to get me. But here's what really made me mad, because these people there's no way this is the first time they've ever done this.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they've been doing it.
They've been doing this.
Right. They've been doing this, but also people have paid them, because if I wouldn't have talked to my brother, I could have seen myself sending them $1,500 to squash it. I don't know that I would have. Yeah. But I could see people that are, I'm not saying I'm a genius, but I do got a decent head on my shoulders to put 2 and 2 together, like, this ain't adding up. Yeah. But there are people dumber than me that would have been like, oh God, send him $1,500 and we're good to go.
Honestly, it's a scary story though. Like, I can see it freaking somebody out.
Yeah. Because if you're that scared, you're like, oh my God, I'm about to go. And then you just hear like a way out of it. Like, if your brain don't slow down enough to process it, you're going to, man, hang on. I'm on it right now.
Right. Like, I got
imagine if it's somebody really young.
Right. Like super duper young. Yeah. Like 20, 22. Yeah. That hasn't been through the things that I've been through in my life to experience this kind of situation.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
That's a crazy story.
That's fucking.
It's scary.
It is scary.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the moral of the story is
you went from scared to being mad like that, man.
Yeah, for sure. But also, like, the moral of the story is don't online date, Rashad.
I was just about to say,
Rashad been telling me for years, like, no, fuck that. He ain't got to do. I'm with you now. Like, I'm done.
I was just about to say, I was like, you've been trying to convince me for years to do it. And I was like, you just talked me out of it in 10 minutes. Like, no.
Yeah, but that was the ultimate, because I've been through one other experience, but we can talk about it some other time. But it was nothing like this. But it was just like a very like eye-opening thing. Like, you don't really know. But also,
and people will do anything.
But to that too, you gotta move a certain way. So like, if you're doing an online date, it's certain features on there now. Well, you can get somebody's phone number, but you can FaceTime. It's features on the apps that you can actually talk on the actual app. Right. So like, you kind of gotta know how to fluctuate. Right. But you was finna get fucking like me. You could have been on Catfish for real. For real. Like, for real. You've been sitting there wondering how people get catfish. You like, how the fuck they didn't see that? And now
now I know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I kind of wish I would have been on Catfish because I got a little bit of money. But
and been on MTV.
Yeah, I've been saying it.
I know somebody personally who sent some really risky pictures and like sent a few without his face in it. And then the girl sent him some, and then she was like, well, I got to see like a good picture with your face in it and everything. He took your face. He took the bait and done that. And then, so she starts reaching out to friends and family members and like, they like asking, do you know him and stuff like that. Then she goes back to him and is like, look, I need $5,000 by 5 o'clock today, or I'm releasing all this stuff to your family members.
Catfish, bro.
I never put my face in those pics.
No.
Never put my face in them.
No face, no case.
Right.
No,
No.
never put your face in it.
But
Exactly.
I'll send the pic, but I ain't putting my face in it.
see, I didn't have a face in any of my pics too, but I'm thinking every worst possible scenario the whole time. You know, I'm like, it's my phone number. They can trace my internet and get my online dating app thing, you know.
Yeah.
But when that dude said, send me $1,500 and we'll call it quits, I said, fuck you. I blocked the phone number. I deleted the app. And I said, y'all motherfuckers gonna have to find me. Because I ain't coming to you.
That's true.
Hey, so let's say that kind of plays out differently, and I just wonder from legal standpoint, say they tried to like press charges on you or whatever, but I wonder if that from a legal standpoint, if you lawyered up, you're like, look, man, she's got a profile, she created it, said she was this age, like I never touched her, never done nothing, never saw her real age or anything. Like, I wonder how that would play out.
See, I thought about that, and I think at the end of the day, when it was all said and done, if it would have been real, if it would have been 100% real, I think that I would have won because we met on an online dating app. She said she was 27 years old.
Right.
How else would I have known, this and that?
Right.
But regardless of the fact, you still got to go through all this stuff.
And you can't put nothing past this judicial system either.
That's true too.
They'll do some unfair. They do unfair stuff all the time. So I mean,
true.
You can't put nothing past it.
It kind of
put nothing past it.
Like if you would have had a judge that had a sexually assaulted daughter when she was younger, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah.
Regardless of, because I think that if I talked to someone for 10 minutes, they would see like in my eyeballs, like, this dude's not a pedophile.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, you might get
exactly.
You never know. Like, you never know.
It's a crazy world, man.
Yeah. So that kind of opens us up. That story, I've been down to tell someone that story because it's not something that I'm proud of, you know.
No, but people needed to hear it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think people need to know, like, hey, don't be sending pictures of your dick to people that you ain't never dicked with. You know?
Yeah.
But I wonder, all right, so from like an app perspective, like if you're going to be in that online dating world or whatever, the people that created those apps, they need to try to do something, whether it's like license verification,
I agree.
Well, this is what you got. This what you got to do is it's options on apps now where you can literally video chat with people. So like from that standpoint, you kind of can cover yourself, but then you want it like he did, get the regular phone and talk to him, but you still want to video chat. You know what I'm saying? And
I'm talking about
somebody, you want to meet them in public.
Now, what Kendall's saying is like some verification. Like,
I was thinking that. I was thinking that the whole time you was talking. I was like, how come they don't make people, give a license or something like that?
It's probably like if you 18. Click yes, when you was little and watching them.
That's it. That's it.
You know what I'm saying? If you 18, click
you can easily just lie. Like I see people.
If anybody knows how to lie on how old he is to watch porn, it's Rashad.
Right? Yeah. But and another thing I'm gonna tell you, even on a video chat, you see there are girls that go to school with my boys that are in the 8th grade and the 10th grade. There are girls that are in high school and in that 8th and 8th grade that do not look like they belong.
Their Facebook profile will say they're 27 years old though.
Yeah.
Well, y'all right in that sense. Let me get some ID.
Yeah.
But meet me at this bar. If you can't get in this bar, there's something wrong.
But I fell back to what Kendall was saying. Like, if this is real. If everything that I think's happening is really happening, there's no possible way I can go to prison for this.
Yeah,
exactly. Told me she was 27 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
We never met up. It's not like you met up with her.
No, we didn't have sex. We didn't.
Right.
But
Yeah.
if you knowingly send a 10-year-old girl a picture of your penis, you're going to prison.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. It's scary.
Not.
That's scary. That's scary.
Exactly. It's very scary. But see, my brother told me that the same thing happened to a guy that he lived with down in Florida. But that guy sent the money. But he didn't tell me this until after everything had kind of calmed down.
Yeah.
This bleeds into some of the main topics we want to cover today. Being a single man, 3 of us are single men, 2 of us divorced, with Big Boy Troy being the only married man in this group. We want to touch on some relationship topics today. So, Shad, I want to start with you and talking about what do you love about
wrong one.
The wrong one. What do you
No.
love?
No. I'm the good one.
Single.
I got pee.
What do you love about being single versus, in a relationship?
If you thought you was married
versus being in a relationship.
Well, so what do I love about being single?
What do you love about being single?
Honestly, everything.
Why you do that? Hold on one second.
Hey.
Yeah, again, we punched in. Hopefully you don't notice it, but we do. Shad, about being single, what do you like about being single versus potentially being in a relationship?
Right. Yeah. Not so much what do you like about being single, but what do you think the pros are of being single versus if you were married?
I mean, personally with me, I've been single a good little while. So
ever since you were born.
I've been well, you know me, I keep mine under wraps.
I'm just kidding. But, I already know. Not everybody knows. I know. But anyway.
Yeah. But honestly, I always have liked, being single, because the older I get, the more I like it. Like I always thought I was gonna be the guy that wanted a wife and wanted 3 kids and a fence. I always thought that because the Disney Channel made it look so great. Like the Disney Channel made family and husband life look so great. But I swear to you, like the older I get, the less appealing husband life looks. The less appealing dad life looks. Like it just doesn't look fun to me anymore.
Why does it look less appealing?
To me, it looked, first off, all of my friends got divorces, and that scares the crap out of me because you don't ever really know. You can be in love all you want to in year 1, because in year 1, people can be who they think you want them to be. They can just be trying to woo you or trying to court you or trying to get you to fall in love with them. And then after you do, then all of a sudden now they can show you who they really are, and you might not like them. Or opposed to if you get married young, like 20, 21 years old, if you live life right, by the time you're 25 or 26, both of you are gonna be evolved. You might evolve into different people. What happens then? What happens when you evolve into different directions? So I feel like you need to be 30 before you even think about marriage, to me. But that's coming from a perpetually single person. So I may not be the best or most qualified to make that statement, but I've been in relationships. I've had things go bad. I've had things go good. I've seen how my friends' relationships turned out, or at least the first ones. So I feel like I've collected enough data over the years to be able to make the assessment for me. This is for me.
Is seeing your friends go through divorces and things of that nature and break up, did that do a big part of why you don't want to be in a relationship or / be married? Not necessarily be in a relationship, but be married.
It allowed me to collect data that I needed to make my own assessment.
Okay.
I didn't make a knee-jerk reaction decision based on just something I saw. That would have been bullheaded and stupid. But I was able to take my own experiences in the past, even though I was involved in a long-term relationship when I was really young. So it's like I didn't know anything about being a boyfriend, about loving a woman, about taking care of a woman, about being kind and sweet to a woman. I didn't know that stuff now. I would be a lot different now. But also with seeing how my friends were. Also, I didn't grow up in a household with married parents. My parents were divorced since I was a kid. So it's not like I saw that manifest in front of my face. I learned how to treat women from Dawson's Creek, Pacey Witter. That's how I learned how to treat women. He taught me how to be attentive to women. He taught me how to put women's feelings first. He taught me how to treat women. And I feel like that's where I got the knowledge from. But as far as being single, I like it because I like to be able to, I like freedom. I like to be able to do what I want to do. I don't like to have to check in, and things like that. So I like freedom of it. I can date who I want. I can do what else that I want to do with whoever I want. It is what it is. I like single life. And I'm not one of these single people that say that, but secretly wish they were married. That's not me.
That is true.
I actually like being a single person. I do. That may change. I don't know. That may change. But right now, I like being single.
So let me ask you this. Is there ever a time, maybe not always, maybe sometimes more than none, but is there ever a time that say Thanksgiving night, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So say you go hang out with your family and like everybody's going home with their husband and their wife and their kids and this and that. Is there ever a time to where you're like, man, I wish I was home with somebody? No?
Never. Because I'm 34 years old and I've never smoked weed, popped a pill. I've never even really been drunk. So I don't give in to peer pressure and I don't envy other people. I know what I like, and with my growth and with my evolution as a person, I'm more in tune with what I like. I'm more in tune with who I am. What I like is what I like, and what you like is what's best for you.
Yeah.
So I have never in my life felt peer pressure or felt like, man, I wish I had that. No, because the truth is, I'm not being cocky or arrogant when I say, I know if I really wanted it, I could get it. I turned down relationships.
Yeah.
I turned down this and that. And I always have.
I know
my whole life.
I know I can attest to that. Like I know that to be a fact. Like I know that's true. I know
like you're not. If I wanted to go get in a relationship and have a real girlfriend, I could. And I know it at the drop of a dime, I could do it.
Well,
so I don't envy it like that. I just like being single, honestly.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. But again, it's two sides. It's the side how you feel, and then we got a married man in here. So Kendall,
we got Big Boy Troy.
Talk about the advantages of you got an amazing wife, by the way. About being a great wife, about being in a
great wife,
being married.
The connection messed up again.
Oh man, well yeah.
That boy got that AOL.
Was it? Hey, how's it now?
Now you good.
Okay,
it's good.
So, before I met my amazing wife Lindsay, I was engaged a couple times before, and
I actually know one of those people.
Yeah,
but that's irrelevant. Go ahead.
So I actually was engaged a couple times before, and it totally did not work out. By the grace of God, it didn't work out. Seeing where they are and where I'm at.
Jabs.
And then I had a kid. I found out I was a father. But still, before when like right there at the beginning of me and Lindsay, like we were kind of friends, and like I would talk to her about different things. And I told her one day, I was like, look, I don't ever see myself getting married or being in a relationship like where it would lead to marriage again. Like I've proposed twice, and I'm struck out twice, and I'm not looking to strike out for a third time. Like I'm just not going to do it. And she's like, yeah, probably the right one to come along, and you would. I was like, no. I was like, first of all, how do you even stay faithful to somebody? That was my exact words to my now wife. Like I said, I don't ever see how I could stay faithful, when I start thinking about it. But little did I know things were lining up, and I was getting blessed with the greatest gift that I've ever got blessed with, which was my wife.
And you got a great one.
I have got
no doubt.
I have got the single greatest thing that's ever happened to me is Lindsay. Because I don't
get lucky tonight.
I don't know where, honestly, I don't know where I would be without her. I have experienced like some very hard and trying times in my life. And if it wasn't for her, I would have went off the rails. I went through a very nasty custody battle with a daughter of mine.
Yeah, I remember that actually.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean,
I don't know details, but I just remember when you were going through it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know, I've lost both of my grandparents. I've lost both of the grandparents that were really close to me, and then I lost my dad unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Out of the blue.
Yeah, but let me pause you, Kendall. Like, so for people, if people listen to this, I don't really know. For people listening to this that don't know, Kendall and I, we've known each other for probably like 20 years.
Oh yeah.
But we don't know each other on a personal level. Well, we do, but it's through kind of gossip. But we're close enough to, if you hear gossip from somebody, you're like, hey man, is this true? Or like, what's going on? You know? So it's like, for me to hear like Kendall's going through a nasty custody battle, if I see like me and Kendall played on the same softball team for probably 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey man, I heard this was going on. So you doing okay? Like, like, because people need that, people are bad about, people in general are bad about holding things inside that they don't necessarily want to hold inside.
Yeah. Right.
Sometimes people actually want to talk about what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have friends that you can talk about those things with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go through things Kendall's been through in his life and not have nobody to talk to about it.
Yeah.
That would be awful.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so back to like Kendall, you lost your father like unannounced,
I mean, so when we got together, like, I mean, I lost my father, just like, who was one of my best friends.
Yeah.
We really butted heads a lot because a lot of, and if you follow the podcast, I'm a preacher's kid. Yeah. So my dad was a preacher.
Yeah, Brother Bet.
Yeah. And he had a certain standard that he wanted his boys to live by. And I always didn't want to live by that standard. So me and him butted heads a lot of times, but never
to a point that was like disgraceful.
No. We never we never
typical kind of normal, like teenage rebellious kind of stuff, whatever.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And stuff I was like doing in my early 20s, I look back now, it's like, no wonder he was like trying to tell me to calm down. Like, people in the town were looking at him like, dude, his kids out there like railing hoes and stuff like that, running around. Like, what kind of man is he? Like, so I understand it. But I mean, but you later on in your life, I'm married and I have kids, and I start calling him for advice. Like, hey, look, I'm having this situation. Yeah. What do you suggest? And it seems like he always has like the perfect answer,
No doubt.
So I lose that. I lose that only 5 years into marriage. Like, I lose that. And I'm like, oh man, like, who am I supposed to call? Like, but, she was there for me. I mean, she held my head, she wiped my tears. She was there for me in ways that, like, nobody could be there. Like, I had not the slightest clue how to be a good father to Mackenzie when I met her, and I didn't know what I was gonna do because my daughter's mother was a straight up piece of shit that was on drugs, and I just got, hey, here's your 2-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
It's on you to raise her.
Yeah, I mean that's a big pill to swallow.
I mean, and she stepped in and raised her like she was, like she was her own. And she just made me a better person.
But the way your wife went about handling it, like that doesn't go unnoticed in the community either.
Right.
Like people are like, hey man, like people don't only talk bad about people. You know what I mean? And that gets kind of misconstrued a lot.
Damn, that's a good point.
Especially in a small town like where we're from. 100% of the time where you hear just like, well, it's a small town, people talk shit, But also at the same time, there are people in small towns that say, hey, have you noticed that like how this person is handling this situation? They're doing a great job.
Yeah.
And that never gets talked about.
Right.
Because people are so, I shouldn't say people, but probably people, like people are so dead set on talking bad about other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there are people that don't like to do that.
Right.
I think our group of friends is those people like,
yeah.
I don't want to sit and talk shit about people.
I agree.
If I know that someone does a good deed for somebody, I'll tell you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy hearing those kind of stories versus, oh, did you hear what so-and-so did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to hear, hey, did you hear what so-and-so did?
Yeah.
I got a question. I know me personally, I come from a broken family. You know what I mean? Shad, your mama went with your pops. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Same to you too. But
no. I come from very broken.
Yeah. And so like Kendall, you come from a family that's together. And ironically, in this conversation, the three people that's single all come from broken families where you come from a nice
got a point.
household. Do you think that plays a part in our psyche? Let me start with you on that, Shad, and I'll come back to you, Kendall.
I think it does because
I also have
people always say, and they use it for an excuse, but to be honest with you, there's a lot of truth to it. You are a product of the environment that you grow up in.
Yeah.
And I have another friend. I don't know him, but he's one of my closest friends. But he came from a 2-parent household. So when he gets in relationships, his eyes are on marriage. It automatically goes there. His eyes are on being married because that's how he knows in his mind, he was molded to believe that that's the end game for a relationship. That's what it's supposed to get to is marriage. You should have your eyes on that the moment you get in the relationship. Me, not so much. That's not what I think. I kind of like having fun with a relationship, having fun with a situation. My mind doesn't go straight to we got to get married, and once we fall in love, we need to get married. That's not how my brain works because that's not what I saw growing up. I learned how to be attentive to women from a television show. That's just the truth. I did.
And Kendall, this is interesting stuff because I just thought about that while everybody was talking. Kendall, do you think coming from a 2-parent household plays a part in, you wanting to be married and eventually being married?
Yeah, I do. I used to not think it did, but looking at it now, yes. Because I seen how my father loved my mother, and I seen how my mother loved my father. I seen my dad always be there for my mom when she was losing her parents, when she was diagnosed with cancer, anytime things went wrong. In turn, I seen my mom was always there for my dad when his sister passed away, his mother passed away. I had wonderful parents. I had
No
really
doubt. I can attest to that too. I knew them personally.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I had wonderful parents too.
Right.
Oh,
They just weren't married.
Right.
I had great parents. They just weren't married.
Yeah.
And so I didn't see the manifest of that.
I can give you. I'm gonna give you the opposite end of the spectrum.
But yeah, I think it does. I think it like Shad said, I think I wasn't. I mean, listen to what I said a while ago. Like I done tried to get married twice before I was like, well, screw it, I'm not gonna get married.
You feel like that you thought you should do that because that's what your parents did.
I always thought the end game in a serious relationship should have been marriage because subconsciously that's what I seen in my household.
Well, I think
my dad preached the gospel, so he was preaching. He who find a wife finds a good thing. You know, love your wives. I mean, so it was a lot.
The Bible also says that, I'm paraphrasing, that I would rather for a man not to be married. The Bible does speak of that.
It does speak.
The Bible does speak of that. But better to be married than spend eternity in a lake of fire and all that. But the Bible does speak to better for a man not to be married. You know, and I also think that people look at it like in this era, like the man doesn't really benefit a whole lot. If things go wrong, the man doesn't benefit at all. As a matter of fact, he's gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
I
just don't agree with that though. I think the man finding the right one, the man benefits way more being married to the right one than he does being
the right one.
And that's my opinion because I feel
the right one.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's a big if though.
Yeah, you're right. We got another perspective, like which my parents was wonderful too. And I also had an amazing stepmom as well. Amazing mother, amazing pops, amazing stepmother. So like just because I come from a broken household, I mean I had great parents.
Right.
But just the dynamics were different.
I know them all personally.
Yeah,
great people.
But like you, on the other hand, let's talk about you.
Yeah. So I came from a family to where it was kind of shattered from the get-go. Like what? Not from the get-go. I was born when my parents found out I was being born. They got married. Then they had another son,
Kyle,
which was planned, Kyle. And you know, whatever. My mom made some bad decisions, got pregnant from another guy. That her and my dad, she told my dad that, hey, this might not be your son. He said, I don't care. I love you. I'm going to take care of him. But like he's my own son because I love you and I want us to be a family, which is it takes a big man to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes a big man to do that. So, but you got to follow out. You got to follow that out. You can't get 5 years in and change your mind and say, you know what, that ain't my son anyways.
Yeah.
And that's what my dad did. So I had a pretty good life growing up from 0 to 10. And then from then on out, my situation kind of went downhill because like my dad got on drugs. My mom, she started seeing other people, like adultery and all this other stuff. But it all kind of worked out. Like there was always this, I always had my brothers to follow. Like we kind of knew what was going on during that time, but didn't really put a lot of thought into it because we were so close. Like we were like, we don't really care what y'all are doing because we got all of us.
Right.
So I didn't put a lot of thought into what my parents were doing. And then as I got older, I kind of realized like what's going on here is not right. Like this is very unhealthy for everybody. So I kind of took a role in trying to blind my brothers from what was going on. but at the same time, I'm dealing with it too. But I got nobody to blind me from it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of dealing with it and
I've seen
blocking
that
it
first
with them.
Yeah.
Which
I seen you do
ultimately later on in life caught up with me.
Yeah.
So those were seeds planted that came back and manifested itself when you got a little older.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So I'm not saying like I'm just like mentally unstable now, but I do see a lot of things that reflect. I see a lot of things that I do in retrospect that make me look back on, well, it's probably because I went through this when I was this age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Go ahead. So there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot more to it than just what I've said right now. But I'm trying to, I don't want to go into too much detail. But
yeah,
my brothers, like y'all know my brothers. Like my brothers, are good people. I think I'm a good person.
Yeah.
Kyle and Cody played ball. Like I remember you always being there for Kyle younger. Yeah.
Yeah. So like my brothers are good people.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been through a lot of stuff, man. Like,
yeah,
I don't think, like, if you were to look at my brothers, you wouldn't think that they've been through the things that they've been through.
Yeah.
And that kind of falls into what kind of the opposite of what Kendall's saying is, yeah, I'm a product of my raising or whatever. Like, so Kendall saw his parents grow up, healthy relationship, healthy marriage. This is what you're supposed to do, so on and forth. So Kendall thought, well, I need to get married and be in a healthy relationship and have kids and have a family, As to where me and my brothers, we did not see that.
Yeah.
We still kind of know what's right from wrong. I'm not saying Kendall don't know right from wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it's just two opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like you don't just because
I do think that does have something to do with what you see when you grow up. It's just like kids that grow up in the ghetto, and things like that may end up being a product of their environment. And things like kids that grow up in other bad parts of town and stuff like that may grow up and be a product of that environment.
How many?
It's a lot of the things we see.
Rashawn or Juicy, how many people that are born and raised in Yorkwood get out of Yorkwood? Not many.
No.
Right.
No, I don't think so.
What do you mean?
What we're talking about is just people growing up in a certain environment, and it all comes back to the question about the marriage and does it affect you if you grow up in an environment.
How many people that are born and raised in Yorkwood, I say in Yorkwood, but because that's where I know, but are okay with living the way they live, even if it's a bad environment?
If it was the past, I would see what you mean, but like currently, like it's a different game now.
I haven't been there a long time. I don't know.
Yeah, it's totally different. Like, but everybody got that stigma of Yorkwood. But I get what you're saying. But
Yorkwood got a different environment now. Yeah,
it's way different.
Oh, now I ain't been down there in a long time.
Yeah, it's a lot of good. But like I get what you're saying, like from a broken environment, whether it is the hood or whether a trailer park, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like just wherever it's impoverished areas. Let's go from that area.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that does play a part subconsciously.
Yes.
Subconsciously. You might not be thinking about it. It might not manifest itself then, but as you get older and when you mature and you start doing shit that you don't realize why you're doing it or why you move this way. When you get older, you realize, hey, this is what was going on in my household. This is what I see. And this is what I innately just doing. I don't understand it.
It's easy to say this is where I came from, so this is where I should go.
Exactly.
Well, think about it though. That's what therapy is about. therapists pull that deep stuff out of you that you didn't know was there. Because you can get brainwashed to something. Look, they do it on TV and through music and stuff all of the time. We get brainwashed on stuff. Once you hear it so much, once you see it so much, you get brainwashed on it, and you repeating stuff that you shouldn't be repeating. You don't even know you're doing it. So it's the same thing when you grow up in a household where your parents were divorced or weren't together. You subconsciously, you don't know what that looks like yet. It may take you a while to get there. But as opposed to kids that grow up in two-parent households and they see what they're supposed. Now, the marriage might not be worth a crap behind the scenes, but the kids see it as a Disney Channel perfect scenario of a marriage. And for the rest of their lives, they'll think that the end game is supposed to be as soon as you fall in love, you get married. And that's not the case, because the truth is we forget when we get grown and when we mature, you honestly can do whatever you want to do. You don't have to do what society told you need to do. You can do what you want to do.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, in a negative thing to that, people seeing that also, I wish my mom and dad, especially my dad, I wish he would have been like, marriage needs to be the end game, but it needs to be the end game with the right one. It would have saved me thousands of dollars and a lot of heartache with the first two.
And even with the right one, it takes time.
Oh my God.
Even with the right one, two of my other best friends right now are perfect for each other and they're married. But it took them 15 years to get to that place. They had to go through a lot of stuff. They had to mature. They had to evolve. They had to turn into different people. They had to realize that being right, who cares about being right as long as we get to the solution? They had to work. They had to be self-deprecating. They had to learn to take accountability for their actions. They had to learn how to hold each other accountable. They had to learn how to hold themselves accountable. You have to grow. You have to grow. Even if she is the right one, you still got to grow. She got to grow.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, don't get me wrong, I found the right one, and this coming December will be 10 years that we've been married. We've got
That's a long time, bro. I didn't even realize it had been that long.
Yeah, and she started with 2. I started with 1. We added 1 to the mix, so now we got 4. I was very sheltered, and my parents done a lot for me and didn't want me to see a lot. Dude, I had to realize a lot of stuff, and it took some time. I got a great marriage. We got a great marriage. We really do. We're good, but we have had to grow. We've had to do some stuff. Like, it's not always been a bed of roses, but at the end of the day, I'm glad I got her.
I don't think it's gonna be a bed of roses all of the time. But are you willing to work with each other? Hold each other accountable, take responsibility for your own actions and each other, and work through it. You can't have that. You have to grow and learn how that relationships aren't about having conditional love. A lot of people got conditional love. I had that early on. As soon as one thing goes wrong, I love you until you mess up.
Yeah.
But that's not the way it can go. It's got to be conditional. I love you through this.
Right.
We can make it through this. Now we need to communicate, and we got to grow up, and we got to hold each other accountable and respect each other, and this, that, and other. We got to grow. We can't just say sorry and be done with it. We got to grow from it, but you got to have unconditional love. It takes years to learn that.
What Chris Rock said, that was that gym. Men are loved under the conditions of what they provide.
Yeah. Only women
unconditionally.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's crazy, but it's true.
Sean,
he said men are loved under the conditions which they provide. A lot of men love women unconditionally. You willing to take her back, you willing to do what you need to do. But once that man fuck up, if his finances go bad, if he cheat, if he do this and that, then it's see you when those problems arise.
He said only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man is only loved under the condition that he provides something.
Yeah.
He's got a point.
That's
He got a point.
But you know, but I will say that I can attest to
Like
that's
you're saying, like,
Kendall in slow motion.
Kendall is in big boy Troy mode. No, I can honestly say, like, everyone knows I've been married and divorced and whatever, but and y'all were close with my ex-wife, like y'all were good friends with her, and I can honestly say that what y'all are saying did not apply to her.
Okay. Well, so
I do not think she only loved me under certain conditions.
Well, sometimes
and that doesn't apply all of the
don't
time.
apply to every.
No. I'm not saying that you did. I'm just saying I accept that. I made a lot of bad decisions, but she also made a lot of. We both made bad decisions.
Yeah.
But she never stopped loving me.
Yeah. Can I? Hey, guy, am I good on here? Can I talk for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you're good. So like I agree to a certain extent what Chris Rock said, but at the same time, I'm with the woman now where when I lost my job and couldn't do nothing for 8 months, lost vehicles, had to sell rifles, had to sell hunting bows, rod and reels, had to sell everything.
Never stopped loving you.
Never stopped loving me. Never stopped pushing. I seen her work double and triple shifts at a hospital. It's something. It gets me real emotional when I talk.
You got
about
a good one.
I don't talk about it a lot.
Yeah,
but I seen her love me when I could not do nothing but get up and take kids to school and come home and try to straighten up a house. And then I wasn't worth the shit at really doing that. I didn't know how to clean a house.
No doubt. That's a real one.
You got a good one.
That's a real one, though. That's a real one. And you see, when they say what they're saying right now, they're not saying that about everybody. They're just saying it's a situational deal that goes on. And it can also be flip-flop in the opposite perspective, But nobody's saying like, I think everyone, especially from a small town, like where we come from, like we all know you got a good one, and for especially like to be as close as we all are, like you want people to experience that, I want Rashad to experience that. I want me to experience that. I want Juicy to experience that.
That's some shit.
And you're a real dude. Kim's a great dude, and Kim's got a great wife and a great family. So that's kind of like what we all strive for in a sense. But we're just trying to like say like, hey, it ain't always that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you and Lindsay. I only got a couple friends.
No, it ain't.
That's marriage that I really truly believe in. With you and Lindsay, Matt and Jessica, Derek and Precious, I believe in their marriage.
Yeah.
It's just only a couple of people that I know personally that marriage-wise that I really truly like, shit is real,
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of pros and cons of being married.
It ain't perfect. That's marriage.
I think my pros, and when I look at what I've got, it outweighs all of it. And
no doubt, bro.
It's crazy because I know she's not a dime a dozen girls. They're very few and far between that are like her. And it's like I've seen my best friend go through a nasty divorce, and like I wish with everything, like, man, I wish he could have I wish he can find, I wish Bubba, Juice, I wish y'all could find someone like I found someone, because I think it'll add to your marriage. I mean, it'll add to your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%, Kendall. But yeah, so like nobody don't get it twisted. Like, don't think nobody's trying to say like, oh, if you're married, you're fucked up. Like, nobody's saying that.
We just speaking in general.
Right. Like people love, like ultimately, regardless of what you think, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, you want to have another person, right?
Yeah.
You want to, But that's how the human body, the human brain was designed. Now, does it always work out? No. Is it because you made bad decisions? Maybe no, maybe yeah. Who knows? Like sometimes it just happens. Like sometimes you think you got the right one and you don't. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I think sometimes you can grow apart. So like,
no, you can definitely grow apart.
What Shad says, he kind of in his thinking. I'm just talking about Shad. You need to wait till you're about 30 to get married. I kind of agree with that to a certain point, because sometimes when you're 30, you've grown into the person that you're going to be, or you can kind of see where you're going, as opposed to changing or evolving to another person. So like if you get married young, or in your mid-20s, if you can't evolve together, sometimes you grow apart to be two totally different people. And while you're doing this growing, that plays a part in where you guys might not see eye to eye, as opposed to meeting at that 30s, kind of area, and you growing from that. So
think about like this, the way I always looked at it. Okay, you get married when you're 21. Okay. You get married when you're 21. Say you only been in a relationship 6 months to a year. Then you get married at 21 years old. She's 21 years old. 23 years old, y'all having a kid. Now, you ain't even 25 yet. You already got to learn. You got to evolve as your own person. You got to learn how to be somebody else's everything. They have to evolve into who they're going to evolve into. Now you got to learn how to be a parent. Now you got to learn how to provide for a family, and you ain't even 25 years old. That's a lot of I got to learn how to do at the same time. That's a lot of I got to learn how to. I don't know how to do anything, and I just put an enormous amount of pressure on myself at an extremely young age, when you could have waited until you evolved. You could have waited until she evolved. You could have waited until y'all learned how to truly, unconditionally love each other, until you truly learned right from wrong and how to hold each other accountable. Yeah. Then you could have gotten married. Then you learned how to be a good husband for years. Then you can learn how to be a good parent for years. Then you can learn how to be a better provider. Then you can, instead of taking those steps, you do it all at one time when you're fresh out of high school. And by the time you're 23, you're overwhelmed and it's too late. Too late.
I agree with you, Rashawn. But at the same time, I think all those things that you said that you have to do and you have to learn, I think it kind of comes natural from a human, just from like your brain will not let you fail at that.
Does it? 80%? How many, what is it, percentage of marriages that get divorced?
A lot.
How many
it's a lot
aren't there for kids?
I think it's 50-50 probably.
Yeah, it's about 50
households. How many single parent households? How many people depressed because they can't handle all the pressure that they put on themselves? How many people lose their jobs and this, that, like, I mean, I don't know if it's a natural thing. I think it's a natural thing to be self-preserving, but I don't know if you're built to know how to take care of all of these people.
Okay, so let me ask you this, and we got to wrap it up. But do you think 50 years ago it was normal for people to have? And I already know the answer to this question, but 50 years ago to 50 to 80 years ago, it was normal for people to get married at 15 years old and have kids at 18 years old and live happily ever after.
Did they live happily ever after, or did we just think they did? I know old guys. I know old guys that's had 5 different women in the community on their wives. I think it's always been trash. They just was able to hide it because it wasn't no social media. It wasn't no this, that, and the other. I think it's always been trash. Men been beating on women. Men been cheating on their women and having babies by all these different. My daddy got 5 kids.
But also, who knows? Who knows? Because
he got 5 kids by 3 or 4 different women and was married twice and all of that. Like,
it hadn't always been trash, man, because that was a normal life. That's what everybody strove. Like, everybody was striving for that life back then, back 50 years ago. That's everybody, the woman, the man, that was all their goals. So it wasn't always trash. They had common goals. You know, that, I mean, that's just, I mean, yeah, there might have been
2 different environments though, because I know a lot of these. I know a lot of households that it was probably a little bit different. Hey, for all we know, all those women back in the 50s were just as unhappy in marriages as they are now. The difference now is that women can leave. Women independent now. Women independent now. Women are bounced if you mistreat them and stuff like that now.
Back in the day,
it's a little different.
It's a lot of milkman babies. You know what I mean? It's a lot of babies in the
real.
It's a lot of dads that think that they was their kids. So don't put it just on men. You know, having different families and shit like that. Women did shit behind the scenes. Women have always been smarter. Women have always been sneakier. Women have always thought out stuff, while men are very, very impulsive. So that's the difference, in the thinking between everybody. So
I was just saying that I don't think this stuff, like people think
I got something to say.
I don't think that this stuff just started, is what I'm saying. I think that, I think it was problems back in the day too. It just wasn't as notable. Media wasn't out there like that, and things like that. But I think things been happening in marriages, man. It's been happening in marriages.
But I'll say this: I think it goes unnoticed what y'all are saying, that the joke, milkman baby, comes from a long time ago.
Yeah,
people just kind of laugh it off like it didn't really happen.
Nah, that's what. Not seriously.
Yeah.
Right, but that was a real thing.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a real thing.
It just didn't get put on Facebook, so it wasn't real.
Yeah,
that's true. Though. I never thought about that. You're right.
I think it's been big time issues with marriages. Who knows? All those old people could have been living for years unhappy.
That's true.
I don't think those people were happy.
So maybe marriage is meant to be miserable. We don't know.
It's some good marriages though. That's a good conversation.
Yeah, like 2.
All right, well, we finna wrap this up. Bubba, thank you for coming through.
I'll be back on the ass.
You coming through, with the energy, with the everything. You done made your presence felt. Before we leave, we always like to do this thing where we give people an album to listen to, something to watch, just a suggestion of something. You put me on Old Dominion. You know what I mean? But just anything you want to suggest to the people, whether it's a movie, music, anything.
Just
anything.
A movie.
Something of the entertainment variety.
A good movie?
Or a good album, something, something.
So if I suggest this, are the 3 of y'all going to watch it?
Yeah, I go through the suggestions. Yeah.
Because I will say that I do not suggest bad movies.
Okay, go ahead.
I take a lot of pride in suggesting a movie. So, watch the movie Gone Baby Gone.
Gone Baby Gone.
Gone Baby Gone. It's in my top 5.
Okay.
All right, I got 5 movies. I ain't gonna put them all on you right now, but it's in the top 5. But it's a good movie.
Gone Baby Gone.
Gone Baby Gone. Got a Casey Affleck. I don't remember the other actors and actress's name. It's a great movie. Also, listen to your boys, the Onion Grass Band on YouTube.
The Onion Grass Band.
That's me and my boy Peyton Phillips. We got a couple songs on there. We're fixing to crank back up. I'm also fixing to collaborate with Ladarius Johnson, Rashad Dawson. We're gonna give the people a little something that they ain't never seen before. So y'all stay tuned for a little current climate. I appreciate y'all having me on. It's been great, and I can't wait to come back to y'all boys. See you later.
What about you, Shad?
Watch The Mandalorian. Watch The Mandalorian. Like, I can't go into it now because we done ran out of time, but watch The Mandalorian. It's some of the greatest Star Wars content that's ever been put on screen.
What about you, Kendall?
Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all, go watch Saturday at 2:30. Go watch Alabama absolutely beat the brakes off of Auburn.
There you go.
Iron Bowl.
That's some good content, Kendall.
And
Go watch it. It's gonna be an ass kicking.
And I'm gonna follow up with that because I'm actually gonna be with Kendall tomorrow watching that ass kicking. After that, watch the Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. fight. Well, I don't know when we're releasing this, so this might be after the fact. And I want to see the Nate versus Logan Paul. That's on the same card. So
yeah, that is on the same card.
We'll probably be talking about the results. But yeah.
I want Rashad to listen to the song Molly by Lil Dicky and then text me within the next 10 minutes.
All right.
What is it?
Molly, Lil Dicky.
Called Molly by Lil Dicky, and then text me within 10 minutes and tell me what you think about it.
Okay.
Always peace, love, and light. Nova Trifecta, we out, baby.